Hello, this is Mandy from SunflowersAndDors. Welcome to my channel and to my first tutorial. Today we're going to go through a really simple project, but it is really effective. I kind of use it now as my go-to piece for any journals that I'm putting together. This isn't the project, before you panic. This is my Creating with Scraps ideas book. For those of you who aren't aware of Cori and Creating with Scraps, absolutely fabulous series. I would highly recommend it. And basically what you're left with is an ideas book that you can keep going back to if you start to feel like you've lost a little bit of inspiration. Okay, so today's project, as I said, is really simple. It's kind of like, it's almost like a flippy out, flippy over, flippy up pockets tuck piece. And as I said, really easy, but it is really effective. So this piece here is glued to the page, and you glue it top, you glue it bottom, and you glue it down the right, and it gives you a nice nice pocket here. It's a tuck spot here. We've got a lovely pocket here and another pocket here. Then we flip this over, we've got another text spot, we've got a pocket, another pocket, we've got a flip down with a pocket, and that flips back up. So that's what we're going to have a little play with today. If you are going to craft along as we go, you'll need a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. If you've got it, a score tool. You will need scissors, you will need glue, and you'll probably need a cup of coffee. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a piece of 12 by 12. This is from a Stamperia collection. I can't remember the name of it, but it is absolutely beautiful. I will try and find out what the name is, and I will link that below. No, I really can't remember. So we're going to score this. I'm going to put 3 score lines in. The first one is going to be at 4.5 inches. Excuse inches, I used to be a centimetre girl, but since I've been junk journaling, everything's now in inches. So we got 4.5 inches, which is roughly 11.5 centimetres. We're then going to score at 9 inches, and that is just under 23 centimetres. We're then going to take our piece of card, we're going to turn it one turn anti-clockwise, and we are going to score at 7 centimetres, inches, which is just under 18 centimetres. Okay, what you're going to be left with is a piece of card with 6 sections. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first thing we're going to do to create this project is we are going to cut out this bottom left and this bottom right section. It's probably easier, before you do that, to just fold against the creases so that you can really see what you are doing. I tend not to try and put too much of a crease line in, because I'm lethal with a scoreboard and end up with holes in my card 90% of the time. Okay, so again, when it's really patterned, sometimes it's hard to see, but we're going to cut out the bottom 2 sections. This should be fun. My cutting skills are dire. No matter how much I practice, my cuts always end up kind of veering off to the right, which is really frustrating. Luckily, this is a very forgiving project, and so you can always use your scissors to touch up any bits and pieces afterwards. I do have a pair of Tim Holtz scissors on the way, so I am really looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that miraculously that will improve my cutting skills. We'll see. Okay, so what you're left with is kind of like an odd T-shaped piece. I kind of always, first of all, fold this piece up here, and then you have to decide which way you want this to sit on your journal, because there are a couple of different configurations. We can fold this like this, we can fold this like this, and what you're then left with, this would be glued to the journal. So you're going to open it here, open this here, turn it around, flip it down, and as I said, this piece here is glued. So that would be your configuration. You could kind of decide that you're going to want this piece glued to your journal. Again, that's going to flip up. We're going to flip over here, and we're going to flip over here. Now, I absolutely adore this pattern, so I'm going to stick with this configuration. But this is what I like. You do what you like. Okay, so this piece here, I actually think is a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly cut some of that off. Okay, so we'll go for about here. But don't worry, we will use that piece afterwards to decorate. Okay, so this is our canvas. This is what we're going to start working with. The piece that's going to be stuck is at the back here. We're going to glue across the top, across the bottom, and again we're going to do it down the left side this time, which will give us a nice deep pocket. You can round the edges, you don't have to round the edges. I kind of like to, because I think it gives it a really nice effect. But go with what you will go with. Again, a lot of people will distress this, use some distress ink just to colour up those edges. Do you know what normally I do, and I'm normally really heavy-handed with the distress ink, but this paper is just so pretty, I don't think it needs it. Okay, so first thing, let's just make sure the whole thing folds really well and that there's no bits that we need to cut out. Okay, so happy with that. The next thing is we're going to grab a few scraps. Some of these are the ones that I've just cut off here, which is great. And the others are just, I've been working on a project with the Imagine Stamperia pad. And again, they're really, really pretty pieces. I mean, they're not an exact match. The colours are pretty similar, but you know, you don't have to worry about everything being identical. Sometimes it makes it a little bit more interesting if you do have some points of difference. Okay, so we decide first of all, I always kind of start on this back piece because it gives me an idea as to what I'm looking to do. I'm gonna put a tuck spot, I think, in this first piece, and that's probably too big. That probably would be big enough because it's quite a small piece. So I'm going to cut here. I will ink just a tiny bit on here because the card will kind of blend into the background otherwise. Okay, so we're going to attach this here as our first text spot. I think I'm going to just round that corner really quickly again. Okay, so we are going to glue down here. So you'll have to excuse the glare on the board. I'm trying to find the best place to do the videos. I'm not having a huge amount of success, so please bear with me. Okay, so that is our first text spot. Okay, then we have our flip out pocket. What I kind of like to do with this is to have a small pocket here, another small pocket here, and a deeper pocket here. I'm just going to cut this because I can see it's slightly over. So we'll just cut that off. Okay, so this is going to measure, say 4.5 inches. We are going to probably cut at just under that. So we're going to go with go with 11 centimeters. This cutting board is, I think it's kind of finished its life cycle. I've got a big one, but it is really big and chunky, so for quick projects this is ideal. So we check that this matches here, which it does, which is great. We're just gonna cut off those edges and just quickly do a little bit of glue, ink. I think we're going to do a bit of a rivet here so we can get into that pocket easily enough. So we're just going to fold it there so we can see where our centre is. Again, I'm never great on centres. Okay. So this is our piece, and this is going to be put here. We want to make sure that we can still close our flap, which we can, which is awesome. So I am going to just glue this. Actually, I don't know what side I prefer. This is the time that you want people to be screaming at the channel, saying yes, no. I think I'm going to go with that. Okay, so I'm going to glue this piece here. I probably put way too much glitter glue on my pieces and always have it kind of bleeding out. The only good thing with this glue is that it dries completely transparent, and so I didn't do that, did I? It dries completely transparent, which is great for those little mistakes. Okay, so we've got our first tuck, our first pocket. I'm going to put a piece in here now. This is the bigger section, and then we're going to go for something here, I think, or not, because I know it doesn't matter whether the paper's upside down or not. I mean, it's that pretty, you don't really get to notice. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. So we're going to, like this, and again we're just going to cut this section off. Oops. I told you this is literally ready to give up the ghost. Okay, so again I'm going to cut a piece out of the centre. We don't really want a crease in the paper, so we just pinch that very top section. Funnily enough, it's something I learned recently when I was watching Justine from House of Mahalo. She started doing some tutorials, and they are awesome, so I would highly recommend you jump over there and have a little look. Again, I will link Justine in the notes below. And another favourite is Rachel from RachandBella Crafts. Again, I'll link Rachel just if you're not familiar with her, so you can have a little look at some of the stuff she does. Okay, so we're going to glue this and stop talking so much. Okay, and we don't want it again to go to the right to the bottom, because we want to be able to comfortably fold our flap over. I mean, art glitter glue is brilliant and you have some wiggle room, but not a huge amount. So work quickly is probably the best advice I can give you for that. Okay, now we have our reverse side of the flip, and again, as I said, I like to put a, I'm not comfortable with that, it looks a bit off centre. I like to put a pocket here. This will be perfect in size. We don't need to cut the corners off here because we haven't done that on this piece. But I am going to cut the corners off this section here, the top, so that it will match with the bottom. And for somebody who wasn't going to ink too much on this project, I seem to be doing a pretty good job. It's like an addiction. Terrible, terrible. Okay, brilliant. So I think we're going to put another little notch in that just to make it easy to access. Okay, and we're going to glue this in place. Okay, great. So we've got our first tack, we've got our pocket, and our pocket. This is the piece, don't forget that it's going to be down on the surface, so we're going to turn it over. Now this, I do love. What I'm probably going to do later is put some vellum as a quite deep pocket here, just so you can still see the pattern. But turn it over, and here are our next two sections to decorate. We're not going to need to go any further, that's going to be glued. So some of the pieces that I pulled off, as I said, just literally stuff I've got left over from a recent project. And again, the paper is beautiful, so I'm just going to choose two things here, and I'm going to decide whether I'm going to go for a pocket or a tuck spot. I think I'm going to go for a tuck spot over here, quite like that look. I'm going to round the edge and just a little bit of ink. Gosh, excuse me reaching over everything. Not sure what we're getting a view of, but apologies if it's not great. Okay, brilliant. So I am going to glue this in place as a tuck spot. Awesome. And so we've got one more piece left. And what I'm going to do with this, I think, is stay on the safe side, and we're going to do another pocket that is too short. I quite like this piece here. So let's have a look and see what kind of measurements we need here. And again, I'm not going to take it completely over, excuse me, to the end of the paper, because I like to cut comfortably. I do need a bigger desk, definitely need a bigger desk. Okay, so we are good with that. And so yeah, I'm going to go with that. I should have cut this down to size a little bit more. I don't really want to lose the whole of this leaf because I do really like it. So I'm just going to take it there. Again, we're going to put another rivet in here. There's so many videos and YouTube channels talking through how you kind of use up your scraps, and it's just been absolutely incredible. I'm terrible. I try to organise my scraps, that's a different story, and I don't have a huge amount of success with that, but I do try to organise my scraps. I just never seem to get around to using them all. But after my encounter with Cori's Creating with Scraps series, I'm doing much better. Okay, so we're just going to glue this pocket in place. Excuse my jangling bracelet, I probably should have taken it off. I am such a messy worker. This is the cleanest space I've worked with in I don't know how long. Sorry, I'm probably whispering now as well. Okay, so this, as I said, is going to be glued. We've got our tuck spot. We've got a pocket with bits of glue on. Got a pocket here. If you want to be really, really adventurous, then you could put this in here and use it as a small pocket for things like tags, tickets or tags or whatever. But otherwise you can attach it and use it as a belly band, which I kind of like the idea of. I just don't know whether it would be particularly effective here. So I'm going to go with a pocket, and because it's only going to be a small pocket, I'm going to put that around about here. Okay, I need to be a little bit more delicate with my glue in here because it's a much smaller piece. So again, I'm just going to blend on a little bit so that it doesn't spill out all over the place. And I'm going to put that, I think, about here. Great. Excuse me, just grab a coffee. I haven't got any vellum to hand, so apologies, but I am going to put a piece of vellum down here. And that is going to be just a side pocket as the main piece. Okay, so pretty much I don't think I need to do anything else with that for the actual base of the project. If anything, it's kind of just now going to be a case of embellishing it. You can do that as much as you like. You can add lace, you can add fabric, you can add stickers, you can add all sorts. What I have had a little play with, for those of you, I'm sure you've all seen these little paper dolls from Tim Holtz. Do you know, I bought these and they sat in my drawer for just what felt like forever because I just didn't know what to do with them. They didn't seem to go with any of the projects that I was working on. And then I watched a video by Tim Holtz, who was using his new distress glazes, and they were brilliant. So he started with a piece like this. He just covered it with some embossing ink. They got some great pens for that, so you can really make sure that you're getting the detail in. And then put some glaze on and use a heat tool to heat it up. I've done 3 that I might use for this project. Okay, so we've got this one here. and I just loved the fact that this colour matched beautifully with this paper. Where I'm going to put her, I really don't know, because she looks like she should be sat on a pocket, or possibly even a text spot up here. Do you know what? I quite like, I don't know whether I prefer that there or that up there. I think she'd probably be more out of the way up there, in as much as you don't want to kind of block off. And of course this opens out, so she would be constantly flying over there. So I do really like that, and I'm going to glue her in place, but I'm only going to glue her legs because I want her to be able to move with the text spot. Sorry, when I start thinking about something, I go off on a bit of a tangent, my thought process, and I forget that I'm actually doing something else. Okay, so again, what you can see with this, and I don't know whether you can see it or not, but using the glazes also gives you some really, really lovely texture. Beautiful. Apologies if you can hear the beeping. It is the washing machine to tell me everything's finished. But we haven't got too much longer to go now, so we're just going to crack on and try and finish this. And then the other two pieces that I did, I love this group here. Absolutely just smiles all round. And this I love, just I think because of the old vintagey, antique-y look. Now this was more of a risk because these colours are really, really bright. I think it's broken china, fossilised amber and pistachio. And I thought, great, they will go with the design. They were probably a little brighter than I thought they would be. And with this one here, it's probably a little darker than I was hoping for. So whether I actually go on and use those, I don't know, to be honest. I absolutely love them. Okay. Just really not sure of those colours. I think they probably go better because of the colouring of this piece, so I'm just going to quickly glue those on before I change my mind. It's funny, I love watching videos where people are umming and ahhing and asking the questions, because that's just so me, and I do sometimes just have to make a decision and stick with it. Okay, and I think we'll also get away with this because there are some lines here which they could comfortably be sat on, and the arm there as well. Excuse me. Okay, so as I said, that's our back. We don't need to worry about anything here. We could add more embellishments and more decoration. I don't think, personally, for me, it's needed, just because the patterns and the paper that we're using is just so pretty. This one here, definitely going to put a piece of vellum down there. Love her, and I think these may go. Do you know what? I don't know. Again, that's me being indecisive. I really don't know. They may go there. What do you think? I think it might be, I don't know. Again, indecisive. So I'm going to leave those for 5, and then I will decide whether I'm going to add them again. So this is our finished project. I do have a piece of A5 card. Most of my journals were A5, so this would be my journal page. Because of the way I folded this is better sat on the left hand side of your journal. Okay, so as I said, this bit here would be, and you can pretty much put it wherever you want to. I like to have it in the middle, but just be careful that you've got enough room to open this out and expand it, because you're going to need to have access. So as I said already, we're going to glue the top, we're going to glue down this left side and the bottom, which gives us a nice deep pocket. We've also got our text spot. We've got another pocket here, we've got our flip down with another pocket, and then we have got our main front sheet, and that's kind of how I like to sit it on the paper. Turn that over here, we have got another pocket and a really small pocket here, and a larger text spot. And that is it. Really, really simple. I hope that that was useful and provided a little bit of inspiration. If so, please click on the like and subscribe, and that little bell on the end will let you see any future videos that I put together. So thank you for joining me. Bye now.